get covered in oil, they get covered in like soda juice. Like, it gets gross back there. And hey guys, how's it going? I'm back, and this time we're doing a story time.
It's story time!
So basically, I just wanted to talk to you guys about my experience working in a movie theater. So I worked in a movie theater about maybe almost 2 years ago. I worked there for a year and a half. If you're watching this video because you have applied to work in a movie theater or you're about to apply to work in a movie theater, I definitely encourage it if you're young. I think that working in a movie theater is a really great first job, but it can have its challenges if you're a little bit older, which I'll get into a little bit later. But definitely take everything I say with an open mind. If you're really just kind of doing research about whether this is a job you want to do. But if you're in high school, it's a fantastic first job. I'll give it that. When I started working at a movie theater, I was in college. I needed a little bit more extra cash, a little bit less pressure than my previous job had. And to be honest, for me, even to this day, the people that I worked with are my friends and my family. I just recently caught up with everybody, saw how they were doing over the quarantine. Movie theater family runs very, very deep. And a big reason why is simply because you guys go through so much stuff together, a ridiculous amount of stuff together, that you learn to kind of love on each other and work through it. A big thing that a lot of people have issues with working at a movie theater is the uniform. I didn't care. Basically, where I worked, I wore a polo. It was black and blue. You had a long sleeve and a short sleeve. You had to wear dress pants and black non-slip shoes. And the bottom half, the black dress pants and the black non-slip shoes, non-slip shoes. That part, that's kind of common for most movie theaters. So I didn't mind that. The uniform we kind of got used to. It is really important that you do wear those non-slip shoes. I can count on my hands the number of times that I have fallen behind concessions because I wasn't wearing non-slip shoes. And it's not fun. Those floors get really gross. They get really dirty. They get covered in oil. They get covered in soda juice. It gets gross back there. And I don't care what anybody says, but working in a concession stand is almost the same, if not worse, than working in a fast food job, because you're still in contact with food. The amount of butter and syrup and nacho cheese I have had my body covered in is not even funny. We had one time, I don't even remember what the movie was. It was a scary movie, and people were requesting nachos so much. And I remember being real stressed because at the time I was kind of a person of leadership at this point. I'm trying to man my team, let them know, get this done, do that. And I went to get this lady cheese, and I smashed the button, and the entire bag of cheese exploded on me and covered me. And you gotta keep going. Legitimately, I worked the whole rest of my shift with a cheese stain going down my shirt. Because they didn't have a shirt my size in the back. It was kind of wild, to be honest. But yeah, stuff like that happens. There's perks to working at a movie theater as well. So, if you work at a movie theater, almost all movie theaters give you free movies of some sort. You get discounted concessions, which can come in handy because, stuff is $2-3 for some candy. That's normally 98 cents. So that discount was really great. I really miss that. I'm not even gonna lie. So there's perks, but definitely has its downfalls in the same as well. While I was working at the movie theater, Avengers Infinity War actually came out. And that was probably by far like the hardest I've ever worked in my life. And I know people think like, okay, it's a movie theater. How hard did you possibly work? But for context, I legit worked from Thursday to I think Monday because it took me till Tuesday to see the movie. And like, I'm a giant Marvel fan, if it wasn't obvious already. So that was hard on me, but the worst part about it was just the hours. And so I think I was like a junior in college when all this happened. I had exams during this entire opening weekend, except of course Saturday and Sunday. So that Thursday night, I went home at 3 something in the morning, and I had an exam at 9 a.m. and I had to be back to work at 11. So it was like really hard, and I know a lot of things have happened from both Endgame and Infinity War that like movie theaters have kind of changed the way that they schedule people. They kind of treat it like a seasonal thing. So that's really good, but that was probably like the most trying time. I mean, I almost like hurt my ankle running back and forth. Like, I've never seen so many people at one time. Like, you're serving thousands of people in a very short amount of time. And I think, like, that concept loses people when, like, you don't actually work in that environment. And, like, we had sets after sets after sets. For the people who were cleaning, they were, like, you know, rushing to clean through the auditorium in, like, 2 minutes. It was wild. So, definitely, it's not always an easy job. Like, of course, if it's, like, Monday through, like, you know, Wednesday, and especially if it's, like, in the fall, it's not going to be busy, and it's going to be, you know, a really chill job. But when those blockbusters hit, especially in the spring and the summer, it gets wild, like, really quickly. Another thing for me, so, for context, when I worked in a movie theater, I was, basically, like, a staff lead, for lack of a better term. So I worked in all forms. Like, I ushered, I did drop, which is basically the person who tiers tickets. I was in the box office. I was in concessions. Like, any possible job that you can do, I did. So in my time in the box office, I think the hardest thing to deal with was, you know, people just messing up movie names. Like, I grew to dislike box for so many reasons, but like the amount of times people would mess up movie names is absolutely ridiculous. For me, acrimony was probably by far the worst. People would just say things like apathy, attorney. I heard accruity, like just random things that vaguely sounded like the name of the movie. Do you mean the movie with Taraji P. Henson? Because, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I started in box office when Chappaquiddick came out, and I had never heard of the movie, and I honestly thought people were pulling my legs because they would be saying random things like, Chipmunk acquitted. Like, the man literally said, like, the word chickmunk and acquitted, and I was like, this is a joke. Like, legitimately, this man cannot be serious, but he was. And so that was like a crazy thing. And then that movie Breaking In, it like didn't do well, but the tagline in that movie is like, payback is a... And so people would walk up to me and be like, hey, I want to see Payback, or Payback is a... And I'm like, you mean Breaking In? And they're like, no, not that movie. I want to see Payback. And we'd go back and forth, or they'd bring me back the tickets, because I'd be like, okay, they mean Breaking In. And be like, I wanted to see Payback with Gabrielle Union. And I'm like, that's not a movie. It's called Breaking In. And so, like, that type of thing happens so often, and it was just, like, so crazy. And I feel for people now. Like, I've always been really respectful to people in customer service, but I feel like in the movie arena, I became so much more respectful because I try to make sure I know what I'm talking about. I know the exact sign. I have my seats together because it's rough. Like, especially if you're busy. I don't want to like put stress on the worker. But another thing, like, my particular company did a lot of special events. So we did Met operas. We did like the filming of Meghan and the Prince getting married. I don't know his name. Oh goodness. But we did a lot of special events like that. I remember one time in particular, there was an Elvis anniversary event, and we sold out of that like weeks before it even came out. So this lady comes in the day before, and she's just like, I'm here to get my tickets for Elvis. She's in an Elvis t-shirt. She's carrying an Elvis purse. I kid you not, she had like Elvis painted, like the letters painted on her nails. Like, this lady was lit for this special movie, whatever. And we were sold out. And so I told her that we were sold out. And this lady, like, ruined my whole life. She told me that, like, I was gonna go out of business. Not movie theaters, but me. I was gonna go out of business. She also said that, like, I wasn't gonna ever succeed in life, and just, like, all this crazy stuff. And, like, it made me really realize that people take their films and, like, media super seriously. And, like, I felt bad that we couldn't get a receipt, but, like, she lost it. It was rough. But we ended up, like, giving her a free ticket for some reason to, like, you know, make her feel better about the fact that she couldn't see Elvis, which is sad. I don't think that really helped. But another, like, crazy fan story, a special event we had was BTS, which is, like, a K-pop band. I knew nothing about it. Our general, like, warning was, like, there's gonna be, like, thousands of teenagers coming through here this weekend. Make sure none of them are pirating this film. And so I was always really, like, chill about that whole thing. Like, I'm not gonna have someone call the cops. I'm not gonna have, like, this whole let me kick you out thing. It's gonna be, hey, you can't do that. Can you please show me that you deleted the video? Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show. So I come to check this show, and, like, it's like a filmed concert, and so there's, like, kids, like, standing up and, like, dancing and doing all this kind of stuff in the middle of a movie theater. So I'm already like, okay, this is not fun. I want to leave. And I come across this girl, and she's sitting, like, in the handicapped seats in the center row, and she has her phone in her hand, and she's, like, tilting it like this. So I can tell she's filming, and so I say to her, hey, you can't film, you know, this is still considered a film, and it's still considered pirating. If you don't mind, can you please stop filming? She says to me, I do what I want. Now, I'm a nice person, but if you push me, I'm very assertive and, like, very stern. So I'm like, no, kid, you don't do what you want. Like, this is actually legal. I'm just simply asking you not to film, but it is an actual, like, legal offense. She tells me she doesn't care that it's a legal offense, and she's gonna do what she wants. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know? And so I come back down, and I, like, stop back in again, and she's still filming. And so I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have to access your phone. We need to delete all the videos that you've recorded, and I'm gonna ask that you turn your phone off. She, like, goes off. She starts screaming and yelling at me, starts doing all of this, and, like, she's telling me that I'm ruining the best day of her life, and, like, at this point, I don't want to deal with it, so I go and get my manager, and I'm just like, look, there's a kid in there filming, she won't stop, I don't want anything to do with it, what do you want me to do? And so my manager comes in with me, and we're like, hey, young lady, you can't do this. We're still trying to figure out where this child's parent is, because, like, when I say a kid, like, she was, like, 12, like, it wasn't, like, a 16, 17-year-old where it's like, okay, I know you came by yourself. But, like, she was, like, maybe 12 at the oldest. And so we're like, you can't do this. And it, like, exploded so badly that we almost had to, like, call the cops for pirating for a child just because she wouldn't stop recording. Like, I had given up on even deleting the photos or videos, but, like, she just would not stop. And it was ridiculous. And it was so dramatic. And, I mean, we had plenty of people who, like, they probably filmed a whole movie there. And, you know, you ask them to stop or they see you, they at least put your phone down. But no, this kid was not having it. She was just like, you know, you're ruining the best day of my life. It is the worst thing in the world. And so it was rough. Like, honestly, teenagers, I think I like peaked at oldness working at a movie theater because, like, teenagers started to get to me. we had like these kids that come and skateboard through the theater that like drove me up a wall. Of course, kids sneaking into rated R movies, which is just like, okay, hold on. Side note, I'm not encouraging anyone to jump into a rated R movie, like, at all. I'm not. But if you are, like, if you're like a group of boys, maybe don't try to get tickets to a rated R scary movie and then resort to getting like Smallfoot or some random child movie that we know you're not watching. So like at least try to get something that it seems like you'd watch, cuz then the moment you get that ticket, we're like, "Okay, let's keep an eye on this one." So like it's not smart. I mean, my theater had assigned seats, so a lot of times people got caught when we didn't even know they were sneaking into rated R movies, but there were times that like management had us on the hunt for like ridiculous kids like sneaking into rated R movies while pretending to watch rated G movies, and it just never made sense. And like teenagers like hooking up in the theater, like I've never been more scarred in my life by that. Like it happens so often. I thought that that was like a 1980s like movie thing when it's really not. It's like reality, and I don't want anything to do with it. So if you do decide to work at a movie theater, do know that that's something that occurs, and like not just with teenagers, but I mean most of the people that I came across were teenagers, and it's super uncomfortable and it's just not sanitary like at all. Yeah, no, I don't like it. And just like in general, I think people don't realize like how unsanitary like movie theaters can get. Like people get sick in movie theaters a lot, and I would work shifts that would often have a lot of minors on it. So, you know, legally if you're a minor, you can't pick up any bodily fluids. So, that being said, I somehow always ended up like cleaning up after people in that way, and like you just come in contact with a lot of gross stuff that you just don't want to. And I mean, like, there's weird stuff that you come across that's kind of cool. Like, I found, like, machetes, which was kind of disturbing. I found, like, multiple bottles of liquor around a seat that only one person sat in. Um, Tons of, like, random food items. Like, there was one time this lady, like, threw away a cookout bag, and I was just like, okay, you brought cookout into the movies. And she legitimately had left a chicken tender on the stairs, and my best friend slid and almost like slid all the way into the screen on that chicken tender. So if you're gonna sneak movies, so if you're gonna sneak like food into the movie theaters, don't leave it, because like that's just rude to begin with, but also dangerous. So yeah, like we found KFC boxes. Like people don't clean up after themselves. That's another thing that I like really learned. People are rude. They don't clean up after themselves, and a lot of times it's stuff that you should not have. Like all this outside food and the liquor. Like you shouldn't have it. At least clean it up, please. Like, oh gosh, yeah. And I mean, a lot of people would go to the movies and get drunk, and it's like you could get drunk before you got here, but you decided to get drunk here, and like there's been at least 2 times that like someone has been so inebriated that like we couldn't wake them up, and those times have always terrified me, because like that's the last thing I want. Like I don't want to have to like deal with that. And like our movie theater, they joked was haunted, but it really, you know, it may have been actually. But 2 people had already passed away at our movie theater like in recent times. I wasn't there when this happened, but you know, if you walk around at night in there, it does get kind of spooky. And so I wasn't trying to like be a witness to ghost number 3. So it was like, yeah, it was wild, man. Like stupid wild. But also, we did have a cool thing where we had like a power outage, and I think I was just in the neighborhood. I wasn't working that day, and everybody had to clear out, but we had to stay open because, you know, if basically, if during our shift the movie theater was to come back into power, you would have to still be there to close up and close out the shop. So we ended up like playing hide and go seek and like playing tag in the dark with the emergency lights, and like honestly that was probably the best time of my life. I wish someone had a video camera and had filmed it, because it was like one of those weird indie film moments where like kids are just being kids, and like a lot of us were in our 20s, is the crazy thing about it, but it was super fun. I was terrified at times. Like, one of my coworkers genuinely scared me. Like, I ran out of the building, scared me. But, like, it was real fun. And so, like, that's what I mean. Like, movie theater, working at a movie theater, you really spend an awful lot of time with each other, and you really get to know each other. And so you guys grow to be kind of, like, family. Even if you don't hang out with them outside of work, like, that camaraderie and, like, that bind is still there. So it's a super cool job. Like, there's some terrible people that, you'll come across. I've had some nightmare coworkers. I had a girl who told me that she hated me and screamed in my face. I mean, I had coworkers that never did their job and just sat around all the time, or would leave early, or cut out on like doing dishes. Like, all that you're gonna come across in most jobs, like, I would say unless it's a super adult job, but like I've had like high paying like adult jobs where like the adults are even doing the same things, like not taking care of what they need to take care of before going home, or just starting drama. So like it's probably harder because a lot of times you will come across like 16, 17, 18 year olds, but like it's not exclusive to that type of job to have all those woes. I was running through the six with my woes. So just like keep that in mind. Like I said, if you're watching this video and you're watching it to decide if this is something that you want to do or you're gonna do, if you're like super young, or if you're in college and you think that it's something that you would enjoy, if you enjoy movies and that sort of thing, definitely give it a shot. I mean, you meet some great people, you have some fun, it'll be great, and like it's worth the shot. It really is. Like I will say, like, it's not something at all that I regret. At times it was very tiresome and frustrating, but I enjoyed my job when I did have it, and I still enjoy the people that I worked with. Like, I talk to them every day, or I hang out with them. So it's something worth doing. I definitely want to do another story time involving working at the movie theater. Maybe get some of my friends that previously worked in there involved, so that we can kind of give you guys some better in-depth stories. But I just want to give you guys a general idea of like my experience working at the movie theater. I've worked a lot of different types of jobs, and so I do intend to kind of go into some of those more. But if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to share about your experience working in a movie theater, please make sure that you comment down below. And as always, like and subscribe as well. You can actually subscribe right here, right there. Go ahead and click it. Don't even like continue the rest of the video until you click it. Right there. Yep, you clicked it. Okay, cool. So definitely have a great day, guys. And let me know, like I said, if there's anything that you guys want me to talk about. Story times are fun for me because I just love to talk. And so I'm here to share.